we notice is that 99% of realtors' websites they look the same, right? We offer basic information, and they have homes, and we're going to show you lots of pictures of this. So my theory was to try and make my own website the end destination for people. The theory is to not let them have to leave for anything else. This is really, really hard to do, right? Because now you need to offer a lot more on your website than we're currently offering, right? So it's really breaking down everything that you do as an agent on a daily basis and then communicating it through your website. We don't communicate enough to our sphere and to the leads online about what we're doing. We work hard. We go out and we look at homes. We negotiate contracts. We research HOA information, but we don't share it anywhere. And what has led to the growth path for us is sharing it all on the web, right? So break it down a little more. So I get in the car, I drive to meet my buyer, and the buyer says, you know what, Jeff, if I live in Greyhawk or I live in North Scottsdale, where will I take my dog for a walk, right? But we as realtors do not think, hey, that's a great idea to put that up on my website. And I'm here to tell you it's a great idea to put it up there, right? It's a great idea. But it's HOA information. It's the why would I live in this community versus this community. Last night it was, I talked to a gal on the phone and she said, hey Jeff, I want to buy a house for $500,000. I have a dog. I want to make sure I got a pool and a fence. Am I going to be able to get that in North Scottsdale? And I said, probably not, to be honest with you, right? This is the kind of information that we should be sharing on our website, but we don't. It's hard because we just want to put homes and links to information about this on our website, but we don't actually want to write the articles because we as realtors are not writers.
So instead, we all compete with the same thing, which is homes, right? We all buy websites that come with the homes for sale on them, but then we're all competing with the exact same content. We just wrap them differently. So maybe on your website, I can find homes that are in an HOA or homes that aren't in an HOA. You have a link that says homes with a pool, homes without a pool. You've got a link that says homes that are in a gated community, homes that are not in a gated community, right? We're all trying to wrap those homes differently so that we stand out. And what he did, what we've done, is wrap it with area information. All the times your clients ask you questions that you spend the time to research, double purpose that research, right? One, answer the question to him or her, and then two, write about it and put it on your website. I mean, I remember the day you came in my office and you were talking about the dog park thing. You go, the lady I was just out with asked me what she's going to do with the dog park. Will you put an article on our website and send it to her?
So the idea behind it is, though,
shift.
What he said, but he didn't announce that he was saying, is because now we were redirecting that client back to our website again. We call it the machine because we send all of our marketing to one place, which is our website, that actually converts the clients for us because everything is there for them that they need to buy or that they need to buy, right? They have the HOA information, they got comps out there, they got active homes for sale, they got videos of communities out there, we got pictures. It's just, everything is redirected in the website to feed itself so they don't have to go anywhere.
And then we just answer questions with it. When we were in class talking about this concept yesterday, I'm like, the next article I write on the website is going to be Greyhawk Golf Course, public or private. All right, and then at the bottom of it, I'm going to have a link to the DC Ranch Golf Course, public or private, and the McDowell Mountain Ranch Golf Course, public or private. So that anytime we get asked the question about golf in North Scottsdale, we're just going to send them a link. Here you go. You can research that. We have it all on our website for you. And while they're there, there's also going to be click here to look for homes in these areas, in whatever areas that they're interested in.
Click here to see the reviews about us.
And it lives on because not only does that work for that one guy, but then Google comes along and Google sees it. That's what we're after.
Right. Because this is the secret. Because what happens is, well, we all tend to compete for, we're going to show you an example today, it's called Chandler Homes for Sale. Right? When we go out in the river for Chandler Homes for Sale, you're going to see the river packed with guests. Right? When we put in Scottsdale dog parks, homes for sale.
Maybe you're right.
Arrow right.
Okay, hold on. Come on, baby.
This is outstanding.
Yeah, it's reinforcing my love for my laptop, which is not a PC. Dig,
because it's a PC. His laptop's over there.
No? Cool. So the next slide
Yeah.
is we'll get there.
The next slide is a picture of us Googling the word Scottsdale Dog Park and having no ads down the side from Google, no ads across the top, and having no other competing, well, there's one other competing realtor. The top one's called Scottsdale Property Shop, but that's not an individual realtor.
It's not about dog parks.
And it's not about dog parks, right? Because we have Scottsdale AZ, but if you're noticing, this is not a busy page. We're competing for that traffic, and that is the aha portion of it, because as you add additional content to your website, because we don't know what people are going to Google. We're trying to predict that they say Phoenix Home for Sale, Glendale Homes for Sale, Chandler Homes for Sale, right, or Chandler Real Estate, whatever the terms are, and we're all competing at this highly competitive place, but we're just winning a couple hundred clicks here over a year or two. But when you add that up to all of the articles, you get to last month we had 8,500 organic visitors to our website. Right? That is, wow, yes.
So here it is, right? This is this is what it looks like. This is actually a blog article. I go back and forth. We use WordPress, right? And WordPress gives you 18 ways to put content out there. I like to start with the simplest way. This is a blog article. So when we write articles that are, granted, this can be timeless, but we didn't want to build a whole page structured section for dog parks. It's more of a let's just throw it out there as a page. So we do that. It's a blog article. I'm sorry. Cool. All it is an article, right? So this one article that's been seen 121 times over the last 18 months just demonstrates that if you get to the point where you can write an article like this once a week, right? Now let's say we're 50 weeks down times 100 people, you're starting to see where the traffic picks up. It compounds itself.
And then the addition of articles and pages about more information that they need, then you become the resource that they're looking for versus have to constantly surf around the internet. So then they come back to you, and I went to a listing appointment last night, and although we didn't win that, because we don't win them all, they bought one of our houses because she was visiting my website. She saw that, but she worked with the person at the open house, not me. And she's like, oh no, I only use your website because it's got everything we need out there, right? She said, she's like, I need HOA information. You send me the HOA information?
Oh, if we converted all of our traffic to clients, we would not be standing here.
Yeah. We wouldn't be talking to anybody. We'd be on an island, right? The thing is,
it's a numbers game. Paul Pastore, right? An old school realtor here. We're in a mastermind group with them, and he's talking about marketing in general. It's a freaking numbers game. He said it 3 times in a row. It's a numbers game. It's a numbers game. Whether you're online or not.
Anything else with that?
Just the traffic. I mean, as we started to...
Just a demonstration to show you what the traffic looked like. Because as we started to...
It's a compound effect. It does not happen overnight. Right? That year, it's like, yeah, you don't really see it going up. But then 3 years later, it starts to take off.
Right. It's it helps when you read a book by Darren Hardy and he says the compound effect, and then when you see the compounding effect of it. Although one point to this, we did have a period of time where we went writing stuff that was not really real estate related, right? To me, make sure that you keep your content based on homes, neighborhoods, walking distance to schools, walking, or how far to the grocery store, how far to the nearest gymnasium, right, club, because you can drive over Super Bowl. We had a spike that month. We had 15,000 visitors to our website, but we didn't increase our leads. So there's a fine line of trying to make sure you stay within the context of what you're talking about to gain the most amount of traffic. Don't get me wrong, it's fun getting a lot of people to your website.
When you do it yourself, it's easy to talk about real estate, but once you start hiring it out and you're having other people write articles for you that aren't realtors, you got to keep them reeled in to stay housing specific.
We provide them a blog outline, but it doesn't matter. Before you know it, they're talking about we got 3 articles on the butterfly thing down in Scottsdale. I'm like, yeah, okay, we don't need that much in there. One was good. It just happens, right? Because inevitably you're going to start writing. Because what led me down this path was I was writing the articles, right? Like I went to blogging classes. I was figuring it out through seeing some success. But then after a while, when you write 3 or 5 articles in a week, you're like, I hate this stuff. Right? Like, I just don't like writing at all. Can I hire someone else to do it? So that's how you can use it today.
Step 1, write down the questions that your buyers and sellers ask you.
Write down, because this is the content that you're going to add to your website.
Step 2, type up your answer.
Hold on, it's the answering of it. Because what you'll find out is when you write down those questions, and then you got to put it into a video, because it doesn't have to just be words. It can be a video, it can be a picture, or it can be an article. You realize that you want to maybe change the way you say, and it actually makes you a better realtor, because now you want to put together a well-articulated article about that topic.
Right? Then post it to your website. Don't keep it on your computer. Post it out there.
Is that step 2?
That's step 3. No, step 2 is make the video right there. Type up your answer. Whatever it is. Do your research to answer the question. What's step 2? Step 3 is post it to the web. Let the world see it.
And we do it in the form of pages. We got a couple thousand pages on our website. We do it in the form of blogs.
We do it in the form of YouTube videos.
Right. We have some neighborhoods where we have, more than 40 pages about that neighborhood on there. Wow. Right? Yes.
I looked at your site a little bit, but you, for example, on HOA information, still post a link to the HOA?
Yes. Every time. Be the source of the source. But see, the thing is people are coming to us as real estate professionals for our opinion, not just a link to, you go to somebody's website and they're like, school information, greatschools.net, that's it. Okay, you're not being the resource that I want you to be. Well, for me, I have a couple clients that go there. 3 out of 4 of them like the school, right? There's always that one that doesn't like the school. They're the ones that write the reviews online about how much they hate it, right? But just the real life stories is what they're looking for in trying to find an agent for them. They're looking for our knowledge. We just choose not to share it. So we gotta move fast.
Yeah, that was the strategy to win the organic, right? The organic traffic.
This is your best strategy. It's boring as hell. I get that. It doesn't feel when you sit down, you write the article, you're gonna be like, he's full of shit. Right? There's no way that I'm getting more people here, right? But it's the collection of this over time. Okay, so then here's the second way, yes?
Good question. The organic visitors you said that you had on your website, that 8,500, was that last year or was that in one month?
That was last month.
That was just last month, last year.
Right, that was April 2015.
Wow.
Yeah, that was the proof of what I was telling you, because it is so boring and so mundane that you just don't think it's going to work, but it works because we get the visitors, right? And then we get the leads. So,
of course, all your traffic is wrapped with call to actions. I don't want to. To me, that goes without saying, but I want to make sure I say it.
right? There's got to be places on your website when they come out and read the article to fill out a form to get homes, or a link to homes, right? Like, so when they come out and see the dog park in Scottsdale, then there's a link to Scottsdale Homes for Sale. And then that leads to a form to fill out to capture them. Right. Okay, so now, so we have our website, we're good there, because if not, we want to compete for we have to buy traffic, right? So when we buy traffic, i.e. we're out in a river, we're in the internet, we're buying traffic, and we're going after the major keywords because it has the most amount of traffic, right? We don't buy traffic for long tail keywords. We buy traffic for the city or the subdivision and then homes for sale or real estate or when we're buying it. But the reality is we're going to see a ton of traffic. We're going to see two types of traffic. We're going to see, because when I say West USA, that's just an agent site. When I say Berkshire Hathaway, that's an agent site advertising. We're going to see home builders out there advertising. And then we're going to see Boomtown Market Leader. So you have two choices when you're competing. You can send the ad when they click on the site. You can send that ad to a site controlled by you, and that's these people, right, where you have control of the site, or you send them to an aggregator site. So that's the third. This is 2 and then 3. So let's look at that on the internet.
I'm getting used to the delay.
Hold.
Nice.
Okay, yeah, all right. So that river is just here. And as I said, we have the sites, West USA, Boomtown, and Meritage. They're all buying traffic. And on the right-hand side, Redfin, Remax, Zerpel, Ryland, and Berkshire Hathaway, all buying traffic. And the reason they have to buy traffic is because they do not have as much content as the aggregators, right? An aggregator is just simply that someone has a lot of content, links, photos, that kind of stuff about their site. Because Zillow has a domain ranking of a 7, and our website, which has a couple thousand pages, has a ranking of a 2. Therefore, when you Google that word, if it said something else, because we don't go after Chandler, they're going to outrank us here. So they don't have to pay for it, because this is what we call SEO. You know that guy that emails you 6 times a week? You want to show up number 1 in Google, right? Yeah, for the word, not for this word, because that's nearly impossible unless if you want to buy pay-per-click, you can outbid somebody. That's pretty easy. It's just costly, right? But the reality is okay, so now what we're saying is 99% of the sites out there, when you click through this, look the same. Let's look at one. We're saying that you're changing your environment because we're sending, now, of course, we're not in an AAR class, so we won't bust the guy that his broker's Phoenix home hunt, right? Because he's actually with West USA. That should be up there somewhere, which we recommend to stay in line with the real estate department. Sorry.
Blame Boomtown. Don't blame him.
Oh, it's okay. He has no control. But so this is a site that's controlled by you personally. Even though it's through Boomtown, those leads come directly to you as an individual versus the aggregator. When it's Zillow, it goes to them, then to you, right? This is a different control level. So let's look at some more. These are actually those ads. I clicked on every ad there to try and make the analogy for you to prove to you that everybody's site looks the same, right? We're all offering the same thing, right? So we have free Metro MLS. He was number 2. I don't know who that guy is, number 3, because I can't remember. The point is that the buyers do not remember who you are because it's non-distinguishing. That's why we went so far in making your site more distinguishing in the first example, because in this example, I don't know. I mean, the builders, they like the map, but this is, I think this is Zerpel? Yeah. And then if you're going to the aggregator, which is the third example, because now you're on Zillow, and what I actually did is I clicked on her, Rachel's ad, and it went to there, because this is the part of making sure your social profile, because I own a zip code, right? We do this to generate leads. It's not the core of our strategy, but I want to make sure that when someone goes to Zillow, my name's on every one of my listings, so I get those leads, and that's why I buy one zip code or one portion of a zip code. We used to buy a lot more, but their leads are very expensive and very competitive, right? Because the poor poor Adam, right? This is what the point is if your profile looks like that, do you think you have a chance against Rachel?
I don't see Adam.
Oh, Adam is there. He doesn't have a photo. He doesn't have any reviews, and he doesn't have any stars.
But it says he's the listing agent.
Oh.
They list the listing agent first.
But this is why we hammer home on building out your profiles, right?
They don't.
They don't.
Only if you buy it do they put you as a listing agent. Yeah.
Well, it depends. Some brokerages have agreements on the broker level, so it does, but not all. This is why we hammer home profiles, because he shows up, like the ones that do, they show up, but there's no picture there. You can't even tell that he's listed there, right? At least throw your photo up there and get a couple reviews so that some stars are filled out. But to clarify, I mean, to me, when you're talking about this stuff, I think we went through 3 ways to get leads online just now, right? The first being organic traffic. The second being buy a service like Boomtown or a web service like that manages a paid traffic campaign to a site that you control. Or 3, you can buy ads from companies like Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com, Movado, these companies that are all out there with these display ads. Choose one agent, choose one agent, choose one agent. Right?
Yeah. And our thing is now to try and help you win. And the point of it is that, I mean, Rachel's got 122 reviews, but in the zip code of that house, right, that's down in Gilbert, 5361 South 4 Peaks Way, she's only got 2 reviews in that zip code. So if you're a local person and you're a local expert, so those that have came to our market expertise class, I teach people to get better at being in a local zip code, because then all of your reviews will be locally, because if you have 5 and she has 2 in the zip code, although she has 122, you actually can beat and compete against a top agent like that. So it's just trying to help you no matter where you're at. Same thing for Trulia, but the point is the aggregators are offering the same thing you are, right? Like, so legitimately, a buyer could be on one of these sites, like when you call them and they're like, oh no, I'm on your website, who are you? Right, that happens. That's the truth. Because they don't remember, because they're just lost on the internet. So,
how can you use this today?
How can we use it today? The best thing is to make sure that your profiles are all filled out. Whether it's, Trulia, we even went to Better Business Bureau. I'm not concerned about Facebook, and I'm not concerned about Twitter. To me, they're, if you go there and use them a lot, good. But they're not places that we go to generate leads. That's just, to me, Facebook leads to so much wasted time. For me, I kind of have to stop using it, because I get on there and then all of a sudden I'm looking at stuff and I'm like, I just lost half an hour, right? Like, it's like, what was I doing?
That video was hilarious. You should share that.
Yeah.
The trick, your order of operations, is to Google yourself, right? Unlike your office computer or something, not the one that you use all the time, just to get a better sense of what shows up, and then start with the ones that show up at the top. Update those first, since they're the ones that are already there.
Okay, then also how you can beat your competitors is to, once you have all your profiles filled out and you got a couple reviews out there, when you get a lead, send them that information as soon as you meet them to look different. We don't think that, but that is the way, because it's a third-party validation is what we're looking for, right? That email that's, 3 paragraphs about yourself, you're going to find out shortly, is not the way to convert leads.
It doesn't matter where the internet lead comes from in our world, whether it's Zillow, whether it's from a listing, whether it's a sign call. If we have an email address, the first email that they get, maybe it's the second after thank you, is here. Click here to read our reviews on Zillow. Fill in the blank. Whatever it is, we send them to those third party. You got to have some confidence when you go out there. So many people are anti these other sites. Don't use them. The public, the people that we're trying to convert, do they love these other sites? Yeah, just let's use them for our advantage.
Right? Yes, sir.
When you get a lead from Trulia or Zillow, does it feed toward your website as well? Or does it feed
No, but this is why we send the profile and the link to them immediately, is we push everything to our website because it sells us, because it's different, because it has all that information out there. We push everybody that way.
Depending on where the lead comes from, depends on which campaign they get assigned to.
At what point do you follow up with them with a phone call?
Oh, we're going to get into
Yeah,
that. That's next.
If you have a phone number, call it.
Next.
Next.
Yeah.
Next. Oh, the process.
Okay, so
Sue and Bob.
Sue and Bob, right? Because this is just in trying to get our education of what really happens with a lead, right? So in my scenario, Sue and Bob live in Chicago, and Bob comes home one day, and Bob has this epiphany: I want to retire, right? I want to retire. I don't want to live in Chicago anymore. I want to have a house somewhere else. And this is going to be our internet lead. That wasn't me. That was So Bob comes home. They have dinner, right? So the next day, Bob goes back to work because he's like, okay, I'm going to retire in the next year or 2 years or 3. But I know in 3 to 5 years, I want to be at my next destination, right? So the next morning or the next night, right? So Sue goes online and she fills out the first form. Let's say that it's about 5:30 her time, 7:30 our time. And the first person that gets that lead, right, they maybe send out a custom email about themselves, but they're out to dinner, right? Maybe it has an auto email out to them. But they're like, okay, well, I'll call Sue in the morning, right? But Sue filled out 2 forms, not 1, right? So the second lead, she's on the website before she fills out the second form, doesn't get to it till about 7:45 or 8 o'clock. But that agent's hungry because they need a check, so they call her immediately. Well, it turns out that Sue and her kick it off because she also used to be from Chicago, right? So she's good to go. Sue's pretty happy. She met a gal down in Arizona, going to take care of everything she needs, because that's what we tell people when we meet them on the phone, right? So the second agent that next morning wakes up at 9 o'clock and calls that lead, Sue picks up the phone and she says, I got a realtor. What do you mean? You just filled out a form, right? Speed to lead, right, is the most important thing. Okay, so then she says, oh, well, on the phone the night before, Sue says to the agent, well, my husband's Bob's going to attend a conference down in Scottsdale, Arizona. I want to come down, look at some homes. Can you set it up? Well, they end up canceling the convention. They don't come. That agent doesn't follow up. 6 months later, they rescheduled the conference, and now they're coming to town. So what happened is Sue, because she got 2 sets of emails, was like, wow, I should probably put together a folder online, right? Where all my stuff will go that they send, because they started getting emails from us every single day about new listings, and Sue gets tired about right here of that email every day, or maybe day 7 she gets tired, so she creates a folder, and now your email goes there. Well, when you stop calling, when she realizes that she wants to come to Scottsdale, she goes online and fills out another form.
Yeah, or she just unsubscribes, right? Oh, okay, trip got canceled. No, I'm not gonna.
Right,
I don't want these emails to fill up my inbox. Unsubscribe. Right? Even though we have their phone number, even though the realtors had her phone number and had conversations with her, we all get discouraged when they're not on the hook anymore. You're like, I'll follow up with her tomorrow.
Right.
I'll follow up with her next week. I'll get her. I can't remember her name anymore.
So she fills out the form, right? She talks to another realtor. The realtor says, okay, I'll show you some homes. Come in town. Well, while they're in town, another friend tells them about another area. She doesn't end up buying because she's just looking, right? I don't want to waste anybody's time. I'm not ready to buy. We're not buying for 3 to 5 years. But now she's like, wow, every time I fill out a form, I get lots of phone calls. So she's like, I better start giving the wrong phone number, right? Because I don't want the phone to ring anymore, because every time I fill out a form, I get calls and emails. And then she's like, well, maybe I need to get another email address, or 2 or 3, right? Because I want to keep looking. I didn't find the house that I want yet, so I'm going to keep looking. But because every time it prompts her, she's like, the only way I get to see those houses is if I fill out the form. So I fill out the form, but with this information, right? We're with Bob's number, right?
Bob picks up and has no idea that Sue's been filling out forms on the web, right? He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. We live in Chicago. We're not.
I'm at work right now. We're not moving.
Yeah.
Done. Yeah.
That happens.
Right. So it's just the mindset of realizing, because
that's usually the call after you call Sue and she tells you that Bob died, right? Then you call back and Bob picks up and you're alive.
Right. Because what happens is Sue's skin gets tougher, right? Because now she's a little more cagey, right? Like she would have talked to that girl all night long, the first lead, right? But now she's kind of got the information she needs and she just wants to buy a house. So what does she turn into, Phil?
She turns into the cat.
The cat, yeah.
She gets better.
Right. This is the email only lead, right? Where they just fill out the email and it's like, well, she's from Chicago, so it's 312-555-1212, right? Because I don't want you to find me, and we don't try and Google her email address like we should if we really want to find her.
That was a hidden gem.
That was a hidden gem. Yeah, right? Because researching the people's information online to learn more about them, because you've got to realize that if they're giving you fake information, they're also giving everybody else fake information, and that if you reach them, you're the only one calling. Yeah.
Have you ever Googled your email address? You should try it. Just see if you can find your phone number by Googling your email address.
Right. I mean, because I know that I marked a listing canceled, and it's still under contract, but yet those people that call expired to cancel call my client anyway, even though we're still under contract and it says in MLS. And he's like, how did they find me? I'm like, they're good. All right. We get the next.
Oh, yeah, we're almost there.
Almost there?
Yeah.
But the idea is the understanding that they're going to mislead you intentionally because they have what they need. And when you send them when they ask you for a property and then you send them a link to that property, they're like, I already saw it on Zillow, right? Like now you're sending me what it is. You're revalidating them that you're not offering something different. This is why we encourage A, calling, B, texting, C, go out and video the house, right? Because the idea is to try and become different than all your competitors because they're on all those other sites. And if you're just doing what the average agent does, you're not going to get a response unless you were the first one, because when she's out, she's turned into the cat, right? Like, we don't consider it the good leads. It was Ginger White, right? It was a lead that we just put under contract out in East Mason. I don't know. She went on our website and she just read the reviews about us. And she's like, I know, Jeff, that whatever it is I want to buy for you. What do you know about Mesa? I'm like, I have an agent out there that lives in Lucinda and loves Gold Canyon. Because I don't know anything about Gold Canyon other than it's way effing out there. Honestly.
You got to get on the freeway.
Yeah, you got to get on the freeway. Yeah, all right. So we've described two options, right? So you have your own website where you're the area expertise. Those that don't know who this is, does anyone know who this is? His name is Seth Godin, right? He's wrote 17 books on marketing, right? He wrote the book called The Purple Cow. He is an inspiration for me why I came up with a theory called secret sauce, if you go out to my website, where that came from.
Permission-based marketing? Anybody read that book?
Yeah.
Another good book by Seth. Wait, we're real estate agents, right? Also known as marketers?
Right.
Yeah.
We are in the marketing business if we want to change from just working with the people that we know, right? So the reality, though, here is to point out is that it is definitely a speed to lead. We met with one of the top agents in the Southeast Valley. He's like, we talked to the lead in less than 60 seconds once it hit our site. Now, last year they sold 150 houses. So I'm going to say that this was a successful tactic. And he's like, we win in either the first 6 weeks or we really don't win at all. And I'm like, that's funny because we win more with email marketing and our website over a long period of time because we rise to the top because of that, because of all of our content out there, and that people, because we're sending them links, that when we're pushing them to our site, the website begins to sell you for you. And they believe it more when it's on the web than when it comes out in this orifice. Right? When you tell people how great you are, they're like, okay, that's good. Hey, I read a review about you online, and she said you were wonderful. Right? They
People believe the
that.
internet.
Yeah.
People believe the internet. Yeah, so these are actually two different strategies that we're more of this strategy because it takes us, you say how soon should you call the lead? If we were within 2 days last year, so then that was our thing this year is to get faster than within 2 days, and now we're within 2 hours.
Yeah.
Right? But the guy he just talked about is within 2 minutes.
We're like, Wow.
Yeah.
We're like,
we want to do
tell
both of
us
these.
more, right? Like more.
Yes.
We're like, because we changed our CRM just to get within 2 hours of contacting the lead, and we're like,
Yeah. Same day.
because when we went to talk to Lester Cox, he's like, you got to talk to him in 5 minutes or you're lost. I'm like,
No.
we're good.
No.
We're over here.
If you have a site that all it has on it are homes, and you don't have it wrapped with all your knowledge and the questions that you answer, you have to play this game. You are playing this game,
Right.
whether you know it or not.
We're here to say, if you're not in this game, you're in this game, and if you're not getting, because it's the contact, it's not just the, like you call them one time and you leave a voicemail because you're used to calling your clients that call you back, and you wait 2 days for them to call you back. That's called losing. Exactly, because they have somebody else that's all over them, and if you're not going to win. Because the reality is, if we don't speak to them, because we're selling here, right? In this speed to lead, we're selling our personality. We're selling that we're a realtor and we'll do everything for them and all that stuff, right? We're selling this, but the only way we can do that, because if we don't have it on our website, it has to come from our mouth versus just an email that says, that's not as valid, right? Anything else on that?
No, I think that makes
That's
sense.
good. Yeah. Okay, cool.
I mean,
Any questions on that? None? No? Come on. Anyone want to disagree?
yes.
Chris?
How do you feel about forced registration for people on your site?
I love the idea. We just don't do it.
We do it sometimes.
Forced? Okay.
Well,
I wish all of our.
all right. I'm sorry. We allow people to click around sometimes we ask for a form and sometimes we don't ask for a form, right? What he's saying forced is when they have to fill out the form to go to our site. We never require, only if you fill out this site, you can't get in past this. We always allow them to get by us to fill it out. But we think that any opportunity to capture their information is a good one.
I wish I had better data on it,
If you
actually.
force them, they're just going to put in bogus information.
Yeah, I wish I had
Or
more
they're gonna go
information on it.
somewhere else.
I don't have the. We use Flex IDX. They don't let us track how many times the registration form is displayed versus how many people actually fill it out. I wish they did. I'd like to know some of those stats. But we get registrations, right? So and we let people go around it. So we figure the ones that are
We
registered.
try on Google with Google AdWords to try and do forced registration, but we allow them to go around it, so it's got different. Yeah.
Of those 8,500 you had that visited your site, how many of them converted?
We
Bought a
get-
house?
Last year we had over 2,200 internet leads. So we don't.
Do you know what your conversion was in last
Not
year?
good.
Last
We
year?
suck at internet conversion.
Thanks. Yeah, let's keep talking about it.
We're trying to get better. If you saw that form in the site neighborhoods, we're trying that thing, John.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to track conversion when you're talking 36 months out. You can't say, here I did it 12.
I think she's
No, I
saying
get
leads.
that.
She's saying how many leads.
Well,
We-
and in general, obviously.
Yeah, we had 240 leads in the month of April. So we had 8,500 visitors. Yeah, 2% maybe. I don't know. Something.
And then of those 240 leads, we expect to sell. Hopefully, if we sold 3% of those,
We would be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not that good. John, one more question?
Looks like
2.2.
you guys are mostly just offering to do the search for people and send them the listings as opposed to giving them direct access to MLS.
No, we give them direct access to MLS.
But it's hard to find. Say your comment again.
I said, it seems to me that the bulk of your leads are filling out a form to get information, get home sent to them, as opposed to just going online and browsing on their own.
True. We do it based on area, right? So we have pre-built searches that they can look at without registering. But if they want to customize that search, then they've got to fill out a form.
Because actually our best internet lead, the I'm ready to buy, is a phone call, not a web registration. I mean, the best lead, 80% of the leads that we converted last year were, some of them already filled out a form, but they call us and they go, we want to work with you. We're ready to buy. We're ready to sell. Because over 20% of our internet leads are sellers. So, and it's just a direct phone. I mean, we have a listing right now up in Troon 1-8. She's like, I read everything I know it is about you. when you're gonna come out. We get out there, and I'm like, we're down in the
Basement.
the basement, and I'm like, who else are you interviewing? She goes, just you. I'm like, then let's go upstairs. Right?
Okay, I've seen your house.
Yeah, I'm good. Okay, cool. I was doing this for fun.
We brought this estimate. We were in luck. We were ready.
Okay, so
That joke.
the point of all this, right? Because it's like, wow, this is very competitive. I got to be fast. I got to do stuff that I'm not used to doing. You can keep working your farm, right? You can keep.
I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah.
That is not an attractive person that I would like to be.
Right. If you're working 6 to 10 deals a year, right? 12 deals a year out of the people that you know, your own personal database. That's this analogy, right? There's not other people in the yard with them, right? It's just you out there with your clients. But if you're going to compete on the web, we got to change what we do. We got to change our strategy to get the best internet leads there are, right? That is the phone call, right? I've already converted myself. I don't even need to, just tell me when you're coming out, right? I'm ready to go, right? That's what we want, and that's what building a content-rich website does for you, right? The girl on our team, right? So her name is Elise Fay, right? So last year she had her best year ever from our coaching. She was the only team member that we had built a website for. It's called Good Glendale Homes for Sale. What do you know? She had the most amount of individual sales. It was like, she's like, no, I just send everybody there. I'm like, wow, that's a strategy.
Yeah, she had the most success from her farming activities. And what did she send out with her mail? Go to the website, go to the website, go to the website.
Right, and then she was following up with profiles, and we're like, this is good. We can make someone in Glendale work too. That's nice. Yeah, it was kind of reassuring. So the point is that it works no matter where you are, because it's changing when people Google you, now you look wonderful, and you look like the area expert that you truly are, right? Because as you're researching to do this content, you're learning about it too, right? If you didn't know that answer and you wrote the article, you just learned it. And now you have it in writing on your site, so you can go back and review it if you need to. Because I was in the car with this lead, right? So Sharon Wisniewski was the buyer agent. So we were doing this thing called, we do a home tour, right? Everybody does home tours, people. And we're driving and we're going to look at this house, and they're like, is this in the school district that I want to be in, right? And I'm like, we just wrote a web article on the Scottsdale boundary map, right? Because I didn't think that it's in the school district, but I didn't remember. So I'm like, you know what? I'll send you the link, right? They bought a house for $975,000. It was good. It worked. Yeah, next.
The funnel.
Yeah. So converting of the leads. The idea of following up over time, right? I just had a hard time thinking that it was a good idea when I got a lead that I should call it 7 times in one day. Right? Because that just doesn't feel good. I had a hard time doing it. Like, it's awkward, but it works. Right? Don't leave a voicemail, because what the reality is they expect us to chase them. It feels yucky at first. Right? It does. But, they're going to have that initial, hey, what are you calling for? Because we have to be objection handlers when we're following up in the leads, right? We have to realize that we're talking to Sue, and we know that we're talking to an internet lead. They're talking to 5 to 7 leads or other realtors on average. Of course, we always ask the question, have you signed a buyer broker? No, but I got my guy I like. No, but I got my girl I like. Okay, good. If I could find you the house, would you look at it? Well, sure, because that's really all they want is to find the house. Often we find out that they tell us they're working with other people just to tell us to go away. Right? If we find someone they're working with, then that's fine. You know what I mean? No big deal. We'll go to the next lead. But they build up that script. They build up that tough skin. They're like, I don't want anybody to call me anymore. Even though I filled out the form, I just don't want you to call. So when you call, he's dead.
Yeah. Not everybody that fills out a form has. We don't have everybody that's dying fill out forms. That can't be true.
All right, so I'll give you one story, right? So Guy's name was
Sawyer?
John Sawyer, right? So he comes in, this is 2013 May. He comes in, and I call the lead, and his like housekeeper answers, right? So she's like, oh, well, his mom used to own a house down there. They were probably just checking on it. They're not interested, thank you, right? So I said, well, just give her my information. Give my email. I'm going to email them some information. If they want to respond to it, fine. So, nothing, right? So the next day, they fill out the form again. They come back to the website. They fill out the form. This time,
Different name, same email address.
right? So it was a mistake because the leads that we call back on are only leads that come through the system and fill them out, right? It's not that like we're not tricking anybody into anything, right? They're filling out a form. So they fill out the second form. This time Phil calls them.
Yeah. And John answers, right? And he says, no. We didn't mean to do that. We're not interested in buying a house down there. Thank you. Click.
All right. So send them profiles, right? Send them our website. So then 3 weeks later, it says...
They respond to the email.
Yeah, it says sent from John Sawyer's iPad, right? And I could send you the email. Only interested in Greyhawk or other golf course communities 3 weeks later. We're like, yeah, right? So he bought a house from us last year, 2.1 million cash, right? He was the tiger.
More tiger.
More tiger. Right? But that's it. It's when you call, they're going to be like, oh, we don't want to. What they really mean is, I'm just not ready to talk to you yet, or you haven't proved to me that you're worthy of talking to. Right after he spent time on our website, he got educated. He's like, okay, so they're area experts. And that's what I tell people when I'm on the phone as well. I only focus on this area, and I know everything about it. And of course, because I really work hard on trying to know as much about it as I can. Okay, that's how we convert leads.
Reviews?
Reviews. This is just showing you your image when someone Googles you, right? I'm not the 122 review guy. That's not me. We only got like 29 on Zillow. My thing is make sure you just have some that are current. The biggest impact I had from filling out my reviews was I got more referrals from my existing database because they knew I was active. Because people don't want to call you and ask you if you're still in real estate. They don't. Gina on our team, she just joined our team in December. She's like, when she joined the team, I'm like, email everybody, tell them that you joined a new team. So she got a deal. She's like, she just put it under contract this week, buyer and a seller. She's like, my friends were working with somebody else. Yeah, right. Because they don't know if you're in the business or they forget about it. We just think that everybody remembers us. But when you Google me, right, so because I have a high page ranking, because when you first Google yourself, your website's not going to come up until you start to establish it. This is the whole idea of making your website more important so that when someone types in your name, your website shows up, right? Then we got Yelp, because they're an aggregator. That's why we have reviews there. Because you don't know what website, because in Google, if you visit a website a lot, when you Google something else, and that's one of the choices, Google's smart enough to serve that website up to you, right? Meaning that if they visit Zillow, Trulia, or Yelp more often than something else, when they Google you, that website will come up higher for them, meaning there's a different result for everybody that Googles somebody. True?
Yeah. I know you visit Sibbach.com a lot because those are the top 3 results.
The point of having Google Plus is so you get the big ad on the side, right? It fills up the page, right? I mean, are we convinced that I'm in real estate? Probably, right? We probably want to give them a call. Because also Google puts the nice little reviews there. It's exciting. Wrapping it up. Sorry we went over time. So what can I do today? We just went through building out your profiles and reviews, right? Pick the 12 neighborhoods that you personally want to work and know well, right? Jackie on our team, we meet her. She lives in Ahwatukee. She's like, I want to work in Finley Farms. I'm like, but you live in Ahwatukee. I'm like, that is a poor strategy, right? Let's first work in Ahwatukee, then let's get over to Chandler, then we'll get out to Gilbert, right? Because the further it is, it's always better because this is the farm over sphere argument in that you get the benefits of your farm over to people that you know, like 'cause my kids go to school here, I go to the grocery store, I get my nails done, right? Where you know the most amount of people so that you can get reviews in that same area. And then put it on your website. I know it sounds crazy, but it's the truth, right? So we started developing.
Is that where this came from?
Oh, that is, yeah, the silver bullet is be an expert in real estate and put it all on your website.
And be fast.
And be fast. Yeah. So,
If you can be the expert and the fast one, we're still trying to be that.
you can use your profile for your website. You don't have to change it, right? To me, it's like start writing blogs. It was funny, when I met Phil, I'm like, I trusted what he said. His dad owned the company I worked for, so just kidding. I was a dick. And I'm like, should I be blogging on Active Rain? He's like, no, that's a terrible idea. I switched the next day because I trusted what he said. Right? When you hear information for someone that's successful in an area, be more and then stick to a strategy and stay with it.
But that's exactly what we're talking about today. He had a website with homes for sale on it, and he was blogging his area expertise on somebody else's website. So his website was only about homes for sale. And Active Rain is getting more and more knowledgeable about Scottsdale real estate. Let's put it all on here. Let's wrap our homes with area expertise so that we can really, truly compete on the local level, because that's the only way that we can really beat the aggregators. Right? We're the boots on the ground. We just have to take what we see, what we learn, what we know, put it on the web, because those are the things that people search for to find us. Email both the prospects is a secondary silver bullet, right? Answering people's questions on your website first, and then emailing them the answer is gold.
Questions? You're welcome to leave. We're not going to hold you here.
Thank you guys for coming.
Thank you.
And this is...
Yes?
This is probably the film. Just for SEO stuff, what made you pick your name as opposed to the SEO?
Because it doesn't. It's expected as a realtor that it's okay for it to be Sibbach.com. They're used to going to real estate companies named after somebody.
Dude, he bought his domain in like 2099 or something, before the whole SEO game was as big as it is today.
Right,
When we
so
hire new agents today, and they're building a brand new website, we incorporate keywords in the domain name. But his was, if your domain name has 10 years of history behind it, don't switch.
We'll give it up.
Don't give it up, because Google likes old domain names.
Well, can't you buy?
You can buy.
An area domain name and just forward it to Sibbach.com and get the same benefit?
No.
You can't.
The question was, can you buy an area-specific domain name, forward it to Sibbach.com, and get the same benefit? No, because that domain name has zero authority in Google's eyes. So to forward a domain name with zero authority to somebody else,
Doesn't help.
otherwise people would just buy thousands of domain names, point them to their website, and be good. That doesn't work. Good question, though. What other questions? Nice. Sibbach started with the templated...
Right? This
Right?
is 2006. This is my website. And I was like, wow, I want to make it easier for buyers to come to my website and search. So I started organizing searches on this old IDX program. I don't remember what it was called now. But because I realized that when people go to websites, they search in a price range. So I created just a single page that was just a link to 100 to 200 homes in North Scottsdale, 200 to 300, right, 300 to 400, because that's how people searched. I mean, this was 2006, and then when I sent people there, they're like, we like that. So then I started writing articles about it on Active Rain, of course, because that was like, I mean, this is the evolution of what it is. I started here by myself, right? Like, this was just me.
It is an evolution.
It is an evolution. This is a plan to move forward. This is not something that will happen overnight. But it does work in spades. So, more questions?
Cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you look at how many people like your website? Did you go to Google analysis?
Yeah, Google Analytics. Right. So before I go there, I go to the website and I click refresh 400 times, and then I go look.
But,
Just kidding. You can exclude your own, and I exclude everybody on our team because that's fake.
Right, we have 8,500 organic visitors. We have 3,500 people returning to our website on a monthly basis. 3,500, right? It's everything that they need, right? And then we also have some new visitors as well.
Now, do you have to link something from Google in order to get that information off your website, or can you just put
Yeah, so Google Analytics is a third-party web traffic tracking tool.
right?
And so it requires you put a little bit of code on your website so that it can read every time somebody's on it, where they came from, what they were doing, what they looked at, whether they fill out a form or not. It's a tool that is deeper than.
If you go to
I care to learn.
agentwebsites.co, we offer a free website review. So,
Which one? Agent website.
yeah.
Good question though. And Google Analytics is free, right? There's other paid analytic tools, but for what we do, really, you know you're successful or not whether people are filling out forms, right? Are people filling out forms on our website or not?
Are they visiting?
Do I get emails from our website or not?
Does the phone ring because of your website? I'm telling you, it can.
In the early days, we track this a little bit. Okay, where I seem to get traffic, it's very sporadic, but it's like if I post something, I get traffic. Are those just spiders primarily? I mean, because I'm looking at, it's like discrete individual visits, and it's like getting bumped up by.
Yeah, how annoying is it that Google doesn't give us the keywords that people search anymore, right?
Yeah.
That is like,
I remember
since
when
then.
the things were.
When you could, that was gold. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, 85% of the traffic that comes to our site, we don't know what they typed in, but we can see what page they landed on, which can be a clue, right? Yes, new content is good. New content will typically be your.
When we do our email marketing, when we're sending out our homes, we're also sending out content from our website and linking back to as well, right? So
We still write on Active Rain, but our articles on Active Rain are now to promote the articles that are on our domain.
Okay, do you link from Active Rain back to?
That's what I
absolutely,
mean.
that's called
That's
smart
what- that's
strategy.
what-
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I just tried to say, is that I just wrote one, 3 top questions for realtors, and I talked about the 3 top questions on Sibbach.com. And then I went to Active Rain and I said, I just wrote this article about the 3 top questions because we don't get asked them enough. We usually get asked these other questions. A completely different article. So to find out about those 3 top questions a realtor asks, click here. Back to our website.
Are you using the free end of Active Rain?
No, free end does not get indexed by Google.
Yeah.
You have to pay $60 a month
I
for them.
didn't think so.
Yeah, to get indexed.
We pay for it.
Yep.
I mean, it's the
Yeah, I know.
This is an elephant.
because Active Rain is an aggregator. They have tons and tons of traffic. When you write an article, I can write an article on Active Rain and show up for that one long tail keyword. That's exciting, right? Because it still works, and then refer them back to your web page. So when you get started, sometimes that's a better strategy in trying to generate traffic that's free because you know that Active Rain will get ranked higher than your website. But we want to remember that it's always the best to be promoting our individual website long term because we don't want to be giving everything to Active Rain. It's just like kind of starting to move the traffic over towards your site.
Cool.
Awesome.
Thanks. We're
See you
hanging out.
next
You guys
week for
wanna
those that
talk
want to
some more?
come.
Thank you.
Thank you.